Hi everybody, welcome again to another installment of Conversations in Wire. I'm your host, James Browning. I am a sales representative here for the SoftFlex company. We are a jewelry wire manufacturer based out of Sonoma, California, and we do have a beautiful gallery that we'd love to have you stop by. We're open on Wednesdays and Thursdays. So today we're actually going to be working with a brand new product here at SoftFlex. It's a not brand new product all the way around, but here at SoftFlex it is something new that we are carrying. It is square wire. I'm very excited about this stuff. I made a really fun and simple project that we're going to do today. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so thanks again for joining me. Let's talk about square wire. So here at SoftFlex we're going to have 3 different colors and 2 different gauges. We're going to have 18 gauge and 21 gauge, and then gold, silver, and copper. Now these are coated wire, so we won't be able to patina these, but that also means that they're not going to tarnish on us over time. So it makes really nice projects. So let me show you. I'm pretty sure you guys are all familiar with this piece, but this is basically just like that simple wrap that I did a couple of videos ago, but with square wire, and it just changes the look so much just by using square wire to do the same thing. It's elegant. It has a different sort of way that the wire catches the light, so I don't know, I think it's just amazing stuff. And then wrapping, we want to use half round on this because the connection points or the contact point is so much stronger with half round against square that it just holds better that way. So if you can get a hold of some half round, which we do have here, that's what I would suggest to use. So today, let me show you this other. This is another piece that was done in square and then wrapped in half round. And this is a really heavy pendant. I don't know that I'm going to be wearing this as a pendant, but it may just hang up as an ornament because hecka pretty. And then finally our project today. This is just a simple cuff. There's no clasp, no toggle. It just slides right onto your wrist. And it's really, really, really simple. It's 6 wires, 6 square wires, and then whatever you want to put in the middle. You can create like a larger twisted wire if you want, or in this case I used silver silk. Unfortunately this style with the leather inside, they have discontinued, so we will not be using that for our demo. We're going to be using the capture chain, and I've got some of that. So all we're going to need today is I'm going to use copper for this, just to give it a different look. And then this is also smaller. For this project I used 18 gauge. Unfortunately I am out of 18 gauge here at SoftFlex, so I'm not able to use that for this project. So we're going to use just the 21 gauge, and then I'm going to use 21 gauge half round. And you can change the dimension of the half round wraps if you want, just to change up the look, but this project was 18 gauge square and then 18 gauge half round, and this actually was half round pewter, so it was even a different tone than the regular standard silver. So it's got so many options on this project, so I hope that you guys really have fun doing this. So then the other piece that we're going to need is going to be our middle spot, and in this case we're going to use copper capture chain from Silver Silk. And you can go to their website, which is silversilkcompany.com, I think. I'll have to double check that. There'll be a link in the bottom, in the description below, on where you can find this. And we're not going to need a huge piece, so I'm going to go ahead and put this other stuff back. But the cool thing about this capture chain is that it's knitted wire, and on the inside of that knitted wire is a little ball chain. and they have so many different combinations on their website, so you can really play with this stuff. And they have special clasps that you can use to get it all to hang together and to hook up to your findings and everything. So, I mean, I would definitely go to their website and check them out because they are pretty awesome. Okay. And then tools that we're going to need are pretty basic. We're just going to need some cutters. Because square wire is a little harder than the round wire, I would probably not get your super best ones. But you want to get flush cuts. So your less ambitious flush cutting pair would be what I would use. And then of course, nylon jaw tools. Using these on square wire is a little different. However, if you don't have a pair of these, you can always just use like a polishing cloth on your fingers. But if you don't have a pair of these and you want to work with wire, I would say get these immediately. These are the most useful tools I have in my toolbox. And then we're going to want to get a really sturdy pair of pliers. Now you can use round nose, just not the really skinny round nose, because when you're working with the wire, it can torque the pliers, and we want something a little stronger. So I've got these round nose, but they're bent round nose. So I can still make a nice little loop with it, but they're also really strong. So that is all we need. So let's just go ahead and break into these packages here. Now I tend to eyeball most of my projects, and that's mostly because I have a fairly decent supply of wire. If you do not, you may want to get out a ruler to add to this project, and you'll want to probably make these, I would say, 6 to 8 inches. Depending upon how big your wrist is or how big the person who you're going to be giving this to's wrist is. But I believe average bracelet size is 8 inches, but this is a cuff, so it might be a little smaller. So 6 to 8 inches is what I recommend, and it's so much easier to take wire off than it is to put it back on, so go big. So we'll say 8 inches. Now unfortunately I do not have a ruler, so I'm going to guess. Mine might be a little bit longer than 8. Okay, that looks good for me. So I'm going to cut this off. And I'm going to do this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more times. Or 5 more times. Because we want a total of 6 pieces. So that's 3 on one side of the capture chain and 3 on the other. Look, it's a slinky. Well, that's not good. Cut one really short. Oh well. Now when you are measuring, make sure that you got a firm grasp on your wires, because I cut one way too short. Or I cut the rest of these way too long. Well, another 2. But that is one of the reasons I cut big, so that I've got room to mess up like that. Always give yourself room. So what do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just one more. Now this project, like I said, it's really simple, but it is fiddly to get it started. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and just straighten these out by holding onto one side, trying to get it grabbed against the flat so I'm not dinging my wire, and then gently pulling it through. And I'm not going to do this very much because this wire is not necessarily as dead soft as the round wire is, so the more that we work with this, the harder it gets to bend. And with this project, that's not going to be such a big deal, but if you're trying to do swirls or bend it to go around an object, it's not as easy if your wire is too work hardened. If you guys enjoy my videos, I would love to see you subscribe to this YouTube channel, the Softflix channel, and mark that bell at the top so that you get notifications, because we release new YouTube videos all the time, and I don't want you to miss out on the great content that our team is making here. And if there's ever anything that you see in one of my videos or any of our videos, just go ahead and leave a comment in the comment section, and we will address that or answer your questions, leave us a comment, whatever you want to do, just, be nice. Okay. So we shouldn't have to mess with these too much more. I'm going to get some half round out. I don't need too much of this stuff because I am just going to be using this temporarily. Now this is antique copper because we don't have a non-tarnished copper version of half round at Softflix right now. We are currently out, so hopefully we'll get some back in. But same sort of situation, it's kind of a different tone, so it'll look a little different. Alright, I am going to show you an interesting trick. Now, for this trick, you're going to need another set of tools, another set of pliers, but any pliers will work. We're just going to hold on to one end with one set of pliers, and we're just going to twist the wire. Now, when you're twisting wire, it's a lot easier to do this with shorter pieces. And you want to kind of try and twist your wire the same amount on either side. And I don't know if you can see the way, but like because I twisted one down here, I've got closer twists than I do over here. So if you need to like touch up your twists, you need them tighter in a certain spot, just move your pliers down a little. I'm going to do that, just kind of put a few tighter twists here and there. And this actually is just a way to put some texture on that middle wire that we're going to put into our stack. So it's not necessary to have them like 100% perfect, because it's just going to give it some razzle dazzle. Now the problem that we run into when we're doing this is that if you were to go with your nylon pliers really tightly to try and get those bends out, you could actually take the twists out as well. So it's best to do this by hand to get it back to kind of a straighter sort of situation. Alright, so I've got one sort of twisted up, and I think that I'm okay with that. And what we're going to do is we're going to make a stack of these wires, making sure that our twisted wire is in the middle. And then we're going to take this 3-piece stack and we're going to take some of this wire and we're just going to wrap it a couple of times and then squeeze it down. Now I'm not being very neat about this because I just want these to stay together flat, because this is part of the fiddly bit, that if you don't get these to stay together when you're trying to work with the rest of it, then it can cause headaches in the future. So we're just making a little bundle, so we'll have 2 bundles and the wire to work with instead of 6 wires. It just makes life easier. That's all that we're doing. So if you wanted to try and do this project without making bundles, because we're going to be taking off that half-round wire in the future and redoing that end wrap, and some people might find that redundant or a waste of wire. I personally would rather waste a little wire than rip my hair out later in the future. Say, because I did that. I did rip out some of my hair for you guys already. That's the expertise of myself, is the trial and error that I put through for you guys. So, I think we can twist that up a little bit more. Some people actually will take their wire and put it into a drill bit and make some really tight twists. And that looks pretty cool. Okay, I kind of got some pretty hefty bends in there, so I'm just going to try and gently take those out. If I'm lucky, the twists will snap back. Yeah, okay. And this is your piece, so if you feel that you need more twists in your middle wire, then please, by all means, twist away. Do the twist. Another thing about putting on the half-round wire is that it really helps to set those 3 wires down flat. And that helps when you're trying to put it all together. Even though this stuff is all wonky, that first little bit, when you're trying to make that first couple of wraps, it's really helpful. Okay. See, so we're just making a little sandwich there. and I'm not being very concerned about the neatness about this end wrap right now. I'm really just trying to get it to stay together for me. Okay, there, I think I got it. Now, this capture chain wire is a little bit more slinky than the leather was. The leather was definitely more stiff. So what I may end up doing to make this look neater in the long run is I may do a little capture wrap in the middle and then rewrap it later. Okay. It's sliding all over the place here. Okay. So I know that looks totally not right at all, but we are more concerned about this stuff here up at the top. What I want to do is make sure that all of that is nicely together. Make sure that all of our wires are not crossing all over the place like this is. So we want these to be flat, as close to each other as they can be. Grab a little bit of wire here. So I'm going to go about right there, because I'm going to redo this end, and I think I want a wrap about an inch away from that. Okay, now remember with half round wire, we went over this before, but there is a flat side and a round side. So you want to put the flat side down. And you really want to take care not to squeeze these wires together. We want to make them flat. And I may have inadvertently done that on the end here, so this may be a little bit more difficult, but we're going to try. And it's easier to do this like a wrap at a time, just to make sure that you get the first couple of wraps nice and tight. See, there we go. See, I did it. Smush it back down. Now you can be mindful about how many wraps it's going to take to get these to lay flat and kind of keep it. I'm going to do 5 for this one. See, I bunched it up. Too tight. Now the nature of the ball chain may separate your wraps, and that's okay. We can make that as part of our design choice. We could even do like 3 on either side if we wanted to, or we could just leave it and try and wrap it up. On the back, when we are making our final wrap, we want to make that end a little bit more than halfway. Not too close to the edge, because that is easier to catch that way. I'm just going to squish that down. Now, the trick on making really nice wraps is you can unwrap the first couple and go back, because now you know how thick they're supposed to be. And you can get back in there and squeeze these down. Yeah, this really does want to separate over those ball chains, but that's okay. I think that'll be an interesting design choice. All right. We're going to move down about to here. We're going to do it again. It's really simple once we get it going. The only trick is keeping it nice and neat and flat. And let's change the design up for these next couple to just be 2 and 2 instead of 2 and 3. So I'll give it an interesting little like zigzaggy look. There, that's not bad. And once you've actually got it tied down, in most cases, it's going to be nice to you for the rest of the time. But you really want to make sure that you've put time into making your wires nice and neat so that they can lay next to each other easily. Okay, let's get some more of this haft round. Okay, bring that up just a little bit. And sometimes if you are working with square wire and half round, if you wanted to take your wire and bend it with a tool so that it just basically can lay right like that, that'll help relieve some of that fidgetiness. Remember not too tight on that first round because that'll squeeze your wires together. So we didn't quite get the same look, so let's see if we can kind of separate these out a little. Pop that bead through the middle, maybe. I'm not. Okay, there we go. Oh, looks like I made it a little too tight. So that's going to cause problems in the future, so I need to take this out. That capture chain is also kind of overlapping the middle pieces a little. And I think that's just kind of going to have to be the way that that works, simply because, you know, some materials don't like to do what you think that they're going to do, and you just gotta let them do what they're gonna do. Okay, just gonna straighten this out again and try retying it. Maybe that'll give it a little bit different tension. This might be a project to use a clamp with too. Okay. Once we have all of our wraps on here, and we make it into the actual cuff, the shifting should stop. But I think because of the type of capture chain we're using, it's just more more animated than the stuff that I used before. because I mean it's little balls, so not to be surprised. Okay, this one is going to be my last wrap before I finish it off. So I'm going to make this match this one up here. So I'm going to try and do the 3 and then the 2. Okay, so that didn't wrap precisely the way that we wanted it. So let's see about adding one more and then moving it. Okay. Not very kind of it when the properties of your material are fighting against your design choices. But we soldier on. Okay. Okay, so a little snip here and a little snip there. Okay. Alright, so I've got that pretty much done now. Let's refinish this now. So we got one side done. So I'm just taking off these wraps. I'm going to reuse this piece. If you don't have a piece to reuse, you just cut yourself another one. The half round is pretty soft, so You can play with that as much as you need. I'm going to put my end right here. It's a little close to the other one, but that's okay. I need to have room to bend my wires down, so no worries. Trying to keep it flat though. So we still want these to help hold and finish the piece. You know, that piece of wire is too short. Because I want to make sure that I have at least 4 wraps to make sure that it's secure and that the wires end on the back. We don't want our wires to be on the front because that means that it can catch on clothing and that would be bad. Okay. So to make sure that I'm keeping this flat, I'm pushing down on the outside of the chain, the ball chain, and that's helping making sure that the wires are laying flat now. Okay. And then always go back through, clamp down those wires, make sure there's no pokey outy bits. Because that's what's going to catch on your skin and that's not going to be pleasant. So you may need to clip it down just a little bit more. Okay. Alright, now when I was first making this bracelet, I had forgotten which side was the front and the back. So the front of your bracelet is going to be the side that does not have the ends. So make sure that when you're making this, you know which side is which. I'm going to now clip these down with my flush cutter so that they're all flush and they're all the same length. So that means I'm putting the flat side of my cutters towards the work. That should get me nice flat ends. Okay, now I'm going to take my pliers and we're going to just roll down these ends. And we want to make sure that the square is going to be tucked up under. You have 3 of these to do on either side. And you can use this as design choice. You can make these curly cues, you can twist them together. Just make sure that the end product, that those ends are tucked so that they're not going to catch on anything and hurt you. Because since we're bending them towards the back, it should help get those sharp edges out of the way. And then the loops will be nice and round on your skin. And maybe doing these all at once would be more helpful. However you get them there, just make sure that you've completed the loops so that the points are not going to be catching on anything. Okay, so now you have this capture chain that's just kind of hanging out there. All you have to do is just get right between those two balls there and just clip it right off. Okay, not going anywhere. Okay. Now let's end this side. Let's see, we need some more half round. And we did about an inch. So do the same thing here. Make sure you're working on the right side. So oop, I think I did that backwards. Sometimes it's really hard to tell which side is which on this half round. So take a moment, make sure you got the right stuff. Alright, so check what you did down here. 5, let's see, so I need one more. Okay. Snip these ends off. And then clamp them down. Actually, that one got too long, so let's bring it back a little bit. Okay. So I'm going to trim these off now. About to there. Right, let's try doing this from the inside. Maybe it'll be easier. And once we have these curled down, that will secure our bracelet from sliding out of our wraps. Okay, I think that feels pretty good. Alright, let's get rid of this thing. Right in between those last two balls there. Snip. Alright, so now we have our bracelet link. Now, what we need to do is find something round to curl it around. So, I'm going to use one of these. If you have a pill bottle, that works too. But what I want to do is basically gently, between like the middle, I want to curl it around. Now I know this is like, why are you making it so small? But it springs back sometimes. You can also do this by hand. This is not working quite the way that I wanted it to, so I'm going to try and bend it by hand. You can also use a bracelet mandrel. The one that I made in silver, I used a pill bottle to wrap around maybe the bottom of this. We just want to make sure that there's no like sharp curves. So I'm just going to press it around it and make sure that everything is kind of round. And then make micro adjustments to how I like it. Alright, so there you have a simple cuff bracelet. Little smaller size, different color, different capture chain. So multiple different ways you can do this. Okay, so there it is. We have our materials and our pieces. Not too bad. Very simple project. Well, I hope you guys had fun watching, and I had fun hanging out with you. And like I always say, these are your projects, so take your time, make them your own, and feel free to post your pictures of your stuff on our very important beater group on Facebook. And if you have any questions, feel free to put something in the comment field, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Alright, thanks for watching. Have a great afternoon.